Chefs, welcome to another episode of the Chef Fit Show, aka Chef Fit Success Stories. And on today's episode, we've got Greg Young, a fine Scotsman who's been with us for, been with us for well over, I'd say about 8 or 9 months now, Greg, is it?
Yeah, 8 months now.
Yeah, good stuff. Mad how time flies. Greg's been with us for 8 months, guys, and his journey has been one of probably more the physical has led him to be in a better place in terms of his focus and his headspace, and it's been an incredible journey so far. So we're going to share that and dive into how he did it. The first thing that we want to know, Greg, is just give us a bit of background on yourself, mate. Like, what is your situation now within your career? How long have you been a chef? All of those things.
I've been a chef now for 15 years. So I'm only 30, so half my life I've been a chef. So I haven't known any different, and I only knew hard work, nothing different than that. Yeah. Now I'm a head chef of a small hotel, a high-end one, so it's quite a lot of work, really.
Right.
When I joined Chef Fit, I joined because I was knackered. I had surgery, a year previous, which I kind of blamed everything on, and when things didn't start to get any better, that's when I contacted you, because I gained weight a lot, and I couldn't hold a conversation or anything like that. I was unproductive, you know how it is. Yeah. Smoking, drinking, normal.
What was the setback after the injury? So, you had this surgery, and it was 6 to 12 months after that, and it's still just stuck in that rut.
Well, I actually had you believe I had a tumour on my pituitary gland in my head, so they took it out, which is fine, which is massive, but that controls your weight and stuff. So I thought that was going to be like the magic pass to getting fit and being normal and stuff like that. But actually, it probably wasn't that much to do with that, actually. It was more to do with working too much, and I had no routine, zero routine. Two sugars in every coffee, eating shit, smoking loads, drinking loads. I wasn't sleeping. Just everything that was wrong, I was pretty much doing it, to be fair. I'd never ever set foot in a gym. I'd never ran since high school, anything like that. So I was in a pretty poor shape, actually.
When you think about that, that pattern you fell into, obviously you add to, I suppose you pick up a lot of bad habits and vices. You were doing an insane amount of hours at the time.
Yeah.
When you were in that place for a while, what was the moment where you saw something like Chef Fit and you decided to go, right, maybe I should?
You know what? I can't even. I tried your keto diet and things like that, thinking that it was something that I was doing wrong and something quick would change it. And I remember telling you that, but I don't actually remember seeing it. I was that sort of zoned out. I can't even remember seeing the first video or anything like that. I remember just sending an email or a message like that and being on the phone literally 2 days later.
Jesus.
That's how mental I was, yeah, literally.
Totally. And as we fast forward 8 months, there's been some incredible changes in you physically, mentally, and generally in your personal life, how you're operating. So let's talk about that for a second, Greg. What, as we've gone through this journey, what are the distinct differences to you physically and mentally since you've gone through Chef Fit?
Basically, it's funny. I've lost weight. It wasn't always my main thing to lose weight, but I have naturally lost weight. I look much better, but I'm so much more self-confident, so much more. But with that, I am, how do I explain it? Much more focused. I look after myself a lot more. And I think that's probably the main thing I took out of it, to be honest. Because with that, you spend more time with your family. You're more there. You're more alert. Everything. It's mad.
Respect, I think, is a big one.
For sure. Literally, I was working myself to death every day. Do you know what I mean? I've got a daughter who's 1, and I was working 7 in the morning to 1 in the morning, 7 in the morning to 1 in the morning. Then days off, you can imagine, I'd be an absolute zombie. And that is just literally through not respecting yourself.
And what do you think, somewhere along the line, something must have switched or a light bulb had gone off where you're like, maybe this isn't a way I should be, I should be operating or I should be living? What kind of turned that mindset around? Because obviously you still work very hard and, you still do a lot of hours and you've still got a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. But when you say you were working yourself to death and days off, you weren't, I suppose, not present with those people because you were so exhausted from work. what made you realize that needed to change? What made you go,
I think, to be honest, it was coming up for my wedding. Do you remember I talked to you before my wedding? And we said, okay, after the wedding. And do you know what? It was just, that was kind of the kick up the arse, really. You know, I worked up until 2 days before the wedding, which is mad. Do you know what I mean? I haven't had a honeymoon yet. You know, I went straight back to work. That was my routine. It was what comes first. That was it, really. You know, I saw some chefs that were fine. Do you know what I mean? They were fit, they were healthy, and they were getting on with it. They were leaving early, and they were in control of everything. But I was a bit jealous. I was like, what's going on with these guys? Like, what are they doing? Which kind of fast forward to now, that's much more me. Yeah, I'm still doing long hours, but I'm fit enough to do it.
Totally.
Which is great for me, because I'm doing better at work. You know, I'm doing better at home. You take you a bit more respect for yourself, so you take a break in the afternoon, and little things like that. You know.
Of course.
But don't get me wrong. I am not perfect. There's people much better than me in the tribe in that, but the results from me are still fucking amazing, eh?
Totally. And when you say, you know, you see other chefs doing, you know, things like, I don't know, maybe taking more time to themselves or taking a break, and you find yourself doing that. What was happening before? Did you just have this programming in your mind where it's like, not only am I going to do the work, but I'll actually find more work to do, and I'll bury myself.
No, but you're literally filling time with more work. You know what I mean? It's silly, really. Wow. You know, you're not productive, but literally you just use work as I think it's a kind of escape, really. Yeah. I was addicted to work. That's it. You know, that was my main one. And I still find myself sometimes, you resist, don't you? You resist doing something else, and it's very easy to do what you know. And for me, that was working.
Yeah, totally, 100%. It's very interesting, you know, and it's very interesting, and it's interesting to see that when you take care of yourself, that you become more aware of these things, you know, and that is a turnaround. I think that's a huge, and the reason I wanted to touch on it is because it's such a huge thing for chefs that, you know, within the industry, we're all programmed to believe and to always have work as a number one priority. And absolutely it's important. Absolutely 100% it's important. But when it comes at the expense of everything else, including yourself, including, you know what I mean, family and personal life, you know, it's good that you have an experience where it's like that mindset changes, you know, and you can find that balance between the two. So as you think about this, Greig, as you've made the change physically and you're in a better routine and you're exercising regularly, you've lost the weight, you're in a better place. You know, from someone who's gone through it and someone who's been through the entire thing and made the changes, and you think back to the last 8 months, what was the journey like for you as you go? You know, was it difficult?
Do you know what? It was really. Do you know when it helped me the most? It was hard at the start because it's not that I didn't believe it, but I didn't fully commit to it. You know, I had a hot seat maybe 2 weeks in, and I was convinced myself I was doing enough by fucking having a cold shower and drinking water in the morning, and I was convinced that walking a dog was enough, you know, and that's it, I'm doing something, I've signed up. But actually after that, really committing to it, it has been hard sometimes. But again, I think it's just the whole reprogramming. And like coming into December, it was perfect for me, yeah, because it was full in the restaurant, and I had enough work to keep me busy, but then I also had something else to get me out. So I didn't miss a fucking training session the whole of December, which was mad.
Man, incredible.
Yeah.
It's that switch off. And, you know, as you think about how you've adapted to it now and you've built up all of these habits, like, would you say that this is part of your life? Would you say that taking better care of yourself and, you know, exercise is part of what you do now?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Like literally now we've just bought a house, which is great, which I wouldn't have thought of a year ago. And I think a lot of that comes down to being fitter and healthier and just more organised, really.
Awesome.
Yeah, which is crazy. I was fucking bankrupt 4 years ago, and now we're buying a house next week, so it's pretty good. But then now I'm thinking, beforehand I would have been like, oh fuck, it's 3.2 miles away. But now I look at 3.2 miles as 5 kilometers, and I look at it as, okay, that's my 3 cardio sessions on my way to work, done, box. You know, you look at things differently, don't you?
Absolutely. And I think I want to touch on is, you know, it's very, very important for other chefs to see someone like you who's doing a lot of hours, who's got that responsibility, but also makes the time to get the exercise done and get the nutrition done. The thing that I want to get across to people is that this process isn't easy. it's worth it. It's simple.
Yeah.
It's not fucking easy, you know. And I think a lot of us can confuse ourselves and thinking, do you remember when you started out and it's like, oh yeah, you know, I'm having the water, you know, I'm walking the dog, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm doing enough. And slowly but surely over time, I think you maybe gave yourself that dose of reality of going, fuck no, I need to up my game here. When you did up your game, that's when the extreme changes came, and that's where we're seeing massive physical changes, mental changes, focus, self-respect, confidence, all of these things coming through. Nothing good comes without sacrifice. Something good comes easy, and I think that for all of us, we've got to understand that. And for chefs around the world and anyone that sees this and watches this, you need to get into your head that the change needs to be based on commitment. You need to be committed to living your life differently, you know, and that means being able to work full time and excelling at what you do, but also putting the time aside for yourself to evolve and develop through your lifestyle, your fitness, your health, all of these things, you know, and committing to that way of life, you know, because ultimately, and you know this, I know this, Greg, that the old way of life of working yourself into the fucking ground and then, you know, drinking, smoking, eating shite and not taking care of yourself, like it's not a happy existence. You know what I mean? Like we can distract ourselves with the online service.
It's not sustainable. It's
Okay.
not at all. Look, I'm 30. I've got 35 years worth of work left in me.
Longevity is
Really, huh?
yeah.
No, do you know what I mean? Like, really, you couldn't do that with the belly full of fags, could you?
Yeah, 400%. Longevity is key. If you think about, you know, what you've been able to achieve and what you're building on going forward, Greg, why do you think this worked? Like, what do you feel that was different about Chef It maybe than just kind of showing up and trying to do something by yourself? Why do you feel it worked for you? What was the key ingredient?
Definitely, one, it changes enough to keep you interested, and it's explained clear enough. A revelation was when you did the technique critique videos, because I actually felt like you were, and you know, I learned a lot from that. My bench press, I put 30 kilos on it in a couple of weeks. It was amazing, you know, and I still enjoy doing it, and I'm confident doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I love the lads. It's really good. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I could be more active on there sometimes, but I know that everyone's there, and it is a community, and it makes a big difference. It does massively. Like you could go do, I don't know, fucking Joe Wicks and that, and you sign up and you do the little thing, and it's cute. But actually, there's people doing it at the same time, and you can talk to them, and you know it does make a big difference, for sure, 100%.
Great stuff. Yeah, I think it's that. Obviously, the path is specific to what we do, and it's a competitive environment and keeps people on their toes. But I think the other thing is the community, and that keeps you coming back every single time, and it keeps you supported and it keeps you motivated. 100%, 100%. So, Greg, we've talked about the story. You know, we've gotten to a very good place now, and we're building on that. As you think back to maybe someone in your position before you started, where you were so buried in work, you had these setbacks and these things going on, you know, as you were to try and give yourself advice or give another chef advice who's in that exact same position, who's thinking of making a change or has looked into Chef It but hasn't really made a full commitment to it, or, you know, still kind of floating on the outside, thinking about doing something. What is your advice to that person?
What advice would I give them? I would say just commit to it, everything, every part of it, for even just 1 month. The meditation, the eating, the photos, the even do one hot seat to experience it, because that was really amazing for me at the start. Commit to everything. Read one of the books that you say. You know, like just go for it. Leave the ego. Forget about it. You're not in the kitchen. You know what I mean? And try share it with your team as well. Like my team are losing weight because I'm
Pushing it
doing like the work. Yeah, exactly. It's very contagious. You know, we're looking at doing a park run here, but it's not just me. Tim and Chef It, my team are coming with me, which is great. You know, they're young. They probably don't need the whole. They don't need everything, because they're not as worn out as I am, but they're involved, so it's great. Do you know what I mean? So just leave the ego, give it a go, 100%. Don't dip in and do half of it. Like just commit to it first for a little while at least.
Absolutely. There we go, folks, from the horse's mouth himself. That is Greg Young. His story has been incredible, and it's been an amazing journey, and it's been great to see, Greg. So fair play to you, man. I really, really appreciate you doing this. Chefs, if you are interested in joining Greg and myself in the tribe, message us on Facebook, message me on Instagram, get involved. and see if it is for you. There's always a free consultation before you come in to suss out, put your plan together, get your goals put together, and get clarity on where your problems are coming from. After that, if you feel it's for you, you can jump on board with us, as we said. Right. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed this story. Greg, thank you so much, brother. Guys,
Yeah.
that was us for this success story. All the best. Cheers.
See you, man.